There we go. Alrighty. Okay, I'm sorry. Having some technical difficulties as usual because it would not be my show if I didn't screw up YouTube. Let's hear the theme song and then we'll get started. It's a brand new day and she's back again. Get yourself a beverage, let's get settled in. It's Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. Hey, all our favorite heathens gathered in one place. All our questions answered, our favorite creators on display. It's Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get ready for the fun. Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in, Jay. Give me 1 second. I want to turn off some fans because it gets hot here, so we have fans running all day. Hang on 1 second. Now it might be easier for people to hear. How are you doing today, Jay?
I'm doing good. It's very nice to want to have someone to interview me.
Oh, well, of course. You're awesome. So you have to be on the show. So I don't know if you've watched it before, but here's how the show works. I'm going to ask you 10 icebreaker questions, and then we're going to invite people to come up and ask you questions. Sometimes they're a little shy, so I'll also read you some questions from chat and from YouTube. But and then at the end of the show, we're going to play everybody's favorite game, Divine or Decline, okay?
I don't know how good I'm going to be at that, but I will give it my best shot.
Nobody's good at it. Everybody loses. That's the game. That's why everybody loves it. You guys, thank you so much for the heart me's, for tapping the screen, for sharing out the live. Let's try to get us up to 5,000 likes as quickly as possible. Remember, my goal for every live is to get at least 100,000 likes. I have a gift goal of 666 roses. Those are only 1 coin each. If you can contribute to the gift goal, it helps me to be able to go live more often and bring you guys more creators to talk to. Plus, I do non-believers Bible study every Wednesday, and I do conversations with Christians throughout the week. So if you can, support the show. Appreciate it. Okay, here we go. If you could instantly master any skill outside of one that you already are familiar with, what would it be?
Probably the ability to play an instrument. I'm a big fan of jazz, and I like playing saxophone, although I gave it up quite some time ago. But that would be interesting, the ability to improvise with an instrument, and the idea of people paying to hear you play music is very appealing to me.
Yeah, for sure. I used to play guitar and I gave that up. I don't know why either. I think if I could do one thing that I don't have any, I think I would just want to learn like a bunch of languages. I really want to learn other languages.
Because then you'd be able to travel anywhere you want to.
I really love, I love speaking other languages when I learn them, you know, like I don't know, it's like really cool. It's like being in a secret club or something, being bilingual, you know?
Yeah.
And I always admire people.
What other languages do you know?
5 or 6. I speak Spanish. I don't speak it as well as I used to because I don't speak it as often as I used to, but I speak English and Spanish. Do you speak any other languages?
No, I do not. I joke and say that I'm fluent in sarcasm because I am, but that's not like a separate language, at least not to me.
That's the language. Okay, sorry, I had to adjust you there because I couldn't turn up my volume. All right, there we go. What food do you think is criminally underrated? Hey, Annie.
Food.
Hey, Tahir. Hey, Ken.
Food, I think, is criminally underrated. I would say tetbaki. I'm butchering it, but it's like the Korean rice cake. It is very good, and I think that it is criminally underrated. Not enough people in the States know about it. You can have it spicy.
I did not, so now I need to know.
Savory. Yeah, it is really good, and it's very easy to make. Like, you just boil it for like 4 minutes, and then put the sauce in there, and then you're ready to eat it. Yeah, you can add cheese to it and different things.
How do you spell that?
Teebokki, I believe is how you pronounce that, or spell that rather, not pronounce it.
On that same line, I think the Greek salad. I think it's Greek salad called tabbouleh, which is a parsley salad. I think it is criminally underrated, and it is also easy to make and very, very healthy for you. And now that I've said that, I really want to make some. So I'm probably gonna make some this week because it's so good. If you had to live in one season all year long, which would you choose?
Winter, because I don't have to shovel where I live now. And it gets dark early, so you're able to leave work earlier.
Oh, that's cool.
Than, stay in the whole 9 to 5.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's what I would pick, or any season where the days are shorter. Because the one gripe I have about summer is that the days are incredibly long.
Yeah, that's true. I would probably pick spring. I'm in Southern California, and spring is beautiful here. It's not, miserably hot here, but it's still sunny. Yeah. And then we have all the poppies growing and stuff like that. So I would probably pick spring.
Yeah, the springtime, like if you're a big plant person, I can see that, but I'm not really a big plant guy.
Yeah. Do you prefer planning everything ahead or just going with the flow?
There are benefits to planning ahead, but in my experience, nothing always follows a set formula unless like you have like a big production. So I've always preferred like a rough outline of how I want things to go, or set a formula, because you do want people to get used to certain segments and certain things that they can kind of latch onto, or things they don't want to miss, which is kind of why I started playing songs at the beginning and end of my show. Cool. But yeah, no, I prefer it's still like an in between. You don't want to just completely do free improvisation every show, because then
yeah,
you don't want to be surprised on your own show, because that's kind of bad.
But how about in life in general? Are you a big planner, or are you more a spontaneous person? A little mixture of both?
It's a mixture of both. In real life, you do want to plan everything, but surprises do happen, and you got to be able to adapt. And like, I work in communications, so nothing ever goes according to the way you plan it. There's always something happened, or something's not performing the way it needs to, and you got to adjust and get things to where they need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the same way. I obviously plan things, like, as you can tell, I have a formula for my show. Oh, thank you, Xena Raiders. You guys, welcome in the Xena Raiders, please. Oh, thank you so much, Lex. I do like a general outline, as you can tell, but that's the way I am in life too. But I can totally go with the flow, and I'm very spontaneous. I've been in management for a long time, and when you've been in management for a while, you learn that you have to go with the flow, because shit is gonna happen, and you have to be able to pivot and, adjust when necessary. So,
Flexibility is seen as it's kind of seen as a knock, but I don't really understand it because flexibility, being able to pivot and keep a coherent structure the way you need to, is something that should be more valued rather than if things fall apart, then you fall apart with the plan.
Yeah.
Because then you're just functionally useless at that point, in my opinion.
Yeah. For sure. Hey, you guys, you can request up, and I'll bring you up shortly. I'm going to just finish asking a few icebreaker questions, and then I'll bring you guys up, and you can ask your questions or give Jay some flowers, whatever you want to do. But I will bring you up shortly. So go ahead and request up, and we'll bring you up in just a little bit. Okay, if you had to swap lives with a movie or TV character for a week, who would you pick?
Movie or TV character for a week? Man, I don't know, because I like action movies, but I don't think, because my favorite movie is A History of Violence, and I don't think I want to swap lives with the protagonist of that movie, nor do I want to swap lives with the protagonist of The Departed either. So I would probably have to say one of the Blues Brothers, because that was my favorite movie growing up.
Yes.
Just to, be able to see Maxwell Street when it was actually Maxwell Street before they tore it down for some reason, and to be able to play in a band. Would be pretty cool for a week,
Yeah, for sure. That would be really cool. Who would you be, Jake or Elwood?
I would be Elwood because I'm a big fan of harmonica players, and harmonica is the Mississippi saxophone, so it would be Elwood.
I along those lines would be Cheech from Cheech. For a week, why not?
Yeah.
That would be fun. It'd be very hungry, but I'd be very happy for a whole week. And they don't seem to have a care in the world. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing ever is too much for them to handle. So, all right. What's a hobby you've always wanted to try but never started?
A hobby that I've always wanted to try but never started? Oh, it would probably be jogging. It seems pretty cool. It's a very nice way to start your morning, but I'm too self-conscious when I run, so I'd rather just run on a treadmill rather than have people see me run. Plus, it also, the moment it gets too cold, I'm not going to go outside.
Yeah. I gotcha. Let's see. There's so many hobbies. You could probably just name, put them on a wheel or something and spin one, and it would be one that I've wanted to try and have it. Yep. For instance, I don't think it's really a hobby because it's somebody's culture, but I would really love to learn sometimes other people's not to do them or to take them, but to learn how they do the things. So the henna tattooing is so beautiful, and I would like to learn how they do that. I wouldn't do it because I think that that's a very personal thing. It's a part of their culture, but I'd love to learn how they learn to do it so delicate. It's so beautiful. Something like that. That would be cool to me.
I was wondering if this was temporary or permanent.
They are temporary, but they last a long time because henna is a stain. So it stains the skin for, I don't know. Yeah, so it stains it for a while. Do you have a comfort show or movie you rewatch when you need a reset?
Do I have a comfort show? Not really. Typically, I try to find new things to watch. I don't really have a show to watch when I'm feeling down or blue. Typically, I would listen to music if that was the case. But if I'm seeking to go to sleep or wind down, I would put on the Internet Historian or probably just really bad YouTube movie reviews where they watch horrible movies and then tell me how bad they are.
Yeah, mine is the Golden Girls also, but I also had something that was pretty traumatizing happen to me a few years back, and during that time, like I couldn't be on the internet. I didn't want to hear anything. I didn't want to hear anything.
Yeah.
Because it was an ongoing thing. It wasn't something that just happened one day. I was going through something and it was very traumatizing. And the only thing that I could listen to was wow, what the hell is his name? Think of who he is. I can't think of his name right now. He always does food jokes. He was on that 70s show. He is, what is his name? Somebody in chat, please tell me his name. I know y'all know who
I'm
it
so
is.
sorry, Crystal. I have
That's
no
okay.
idea who
They
you're
will
talking
tell me.
about.
Hot Pocket. Okay, let me look it up. I'll look it up. I bet if I just type Hot Pocket Comedian.
Yeah, you might find it.
Jim Gaffigan. I couldn't think of his name for some reason, but there was something about his humor that is very, like, it's pretty wholesome. Like, he doesn't do anything, too outrageous. He's pretty wholesome, and so during that time, that was like all I could listen to, and so it was very comforting to me. But it's the Golden Girls or Jim Gaffigan for me. They're
Those are good
just
shows.
pretty wholesome. If money and time were no issue, where's the first place you'd travel?
Well, it was Venice, but I had a coworker who lived in Brussels, and he just gave me like the lowdown of what Venice is actually like versus the tourist version, and I don't want to go there. It will probably be Copenhagen just to go to uh, the Jazz House, or Paris just to be drunk and go to all the jazz clubs in the West End.
That's cool. That's really cool. I want to go to Greece. It's just the one destination. Like, if I've never traveled abroad, I've only gone to the United States and Mexico. I've never been outside the United States or Mexico.
Oh,
I've
but
been
Mexico's
all over the
abroad.
United States, so. But I've never been to like Europe or Asia or anything like that. So if I could go anywhere, it would be Greece. I want to see the white sands. And the food is amazing. The people seem amazing. So that would be my first place. Hopefully it won't be my only place though. Hopefully I'll see more places. What's the weirdest or funniest nickname you've ever been given?
The weirdest would probably be Bach, because I listen to jazz, but my dorm mates in my freshman year didn't know anything about jazz, and they just started to call me Bach. It was weird. I didn't like it. Yeah, that'd probably be the weirdest one.
I haven't had a lot of weird ones. I mean, everybody called me something with crystal when I was growing up. So it was crystal chandelier, crystal meth, like it was whatever they came up with
Meth is
crystal.
diabolical. That is crazy.
Yes, they said it all the time. Crystal ball. So I've heard every, crystal one there is. I don't think I have really any weird ones, to be honest with you. When I had blonde hair, they called me Blondie. It was never weird, it was just. So I don't think I have any weird or funny ones. I used to give funny ones away though. Like I gave everybody some kind of funny name. My best friend's name was Carol, but I never called her Carol. I called her Carolina Fustarina Ambrosia de Rosine every time I saw her. She was like, "What are you doing?" So I never got them though. I just gave them out. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses?
Probably one horse-sized duck, because I don't know if ducks are that violent. So if I did get, like, I don't know, irrationally mad at a horse, I guess I could come up with some strategy. But I think too many 100-sized horses, or probably 100 of anything, hostile would be probably too much for me to handle.
One horse-sized duck? That is just one damn big duck. I don't know. I'm going for the little duck. I'm going
I probably
for the
would be
little
too
horses,
scared to, like, in real life, but it's like, and plus I don't, like, horses are too intelligent for me to, like, try and physically abuse a horse. So.
True. That could be true. All right. Well, hi, Egyptian. How are you today? Are you over 18?
Hi, Crystal. Yes, I'm 30.
Okay. Do you have a question for Jay?
Oh, okay. Hey, Jay, how's it going?
What's up?
Hope you guys are having a great day.
Yeah,
Well, the
absolutely.
Steelers are losing, so it's not. Like,
Okay. Well, do you guys like? Do you want me like to? Do you want to discuss like something particular, or just like the existence of God specifically, or like?
Oh no, this is
Or, like,
I'm sorry, Egyptian. Let me tell you what this show is. This is called Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. We're not discussing anything other than talking to Jay today and asking him questions. He's the special guest today, and that's who the Q&A is for. Were you in the wrong live?
I was asking like Jay. No, I'm asking Jay. Like, is there? So does Jay want me to ask him like questions about God or?
you can ask whatever you want.
Oh, okay, all right, all right. Maybe an argument that I like, right? That's also simple. I don't find it to be the strongest argument for the existence of God, Jay, right? But maybe something like the uncaused first cause argument.
Uh-huh.
And in particular, I really like Thomas Aquinas' second way, right? Where he says like there is going to be like a dependence. So like everything depends on another. Anything that exists, right? That begins to exist depends on another for its existence.
Okay, I think that you're
Sure.
confused about what this show is. This show isn't
Oh, okay,
to
sorry.
ask him so he could debate him. It's to ask him questions to get to know him. So
Oh,
you're
getting to know
asking
each
him
other.
like,
Oh, okay.
oh, yes, it's a Q&A about
Oh,
Jay.
sorry.
No,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so
All
I
right.
think you're in the wrong light, but thanks for coming up. Have a good
Oh,
day.
thank you.
I'm sorry about that. I think that he thought he gets to come up and ask you a question and you were going to have to defend your stance on that. But
Yeah.
that's not this show.
I mean, I guess he asked me if I had like an argument for God that I liked, which I don't. But I mean, even then, like it's not even Thomas Aquinas' first mover. It's from Spinoza. And that's just a different conversation.
Do you want me to explain why we're getting to know Jay? Because this is my show and Jay is my special guest. Anyway, he's a deconstruction creator here on the TikTok app. And we're getting to know him because we like to get to know the people in the deconstruction community. And Jay is one of those people that we want to get to know better. Anyway, Jay, so were you brought up in the church? Hey, Ben.
Yes, I was brought up in the church. I was raised Baptist. For about 20 years or so. It was all right. It gave, somewhat of a structure. I mean, did it all make sense to me? No. But, if I was in college, I would tell you that, of course, God works through my life. But now I don't believe it at all.
So you were raised, what, was it like Southern Baptist?
No. Just the traditional Baptist. It wasn't Southern Baptist.
Okay. I know there's like a difference in, I don't really know what it is other than my husband's uncle is a Southern Baptist pastor, or was. I think he's passed now. And so he always made sure to tell me he's a Southern Baptist, don't forget. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know what that means, but okay, well, we'll remember. What was your first memory of church or religion as a kid?
first memory of church was my dad getting to leave to watch football and me having to stay at church for what seemed like hours. That's my first
mom would
memory
have
of church.
never let Dad leave the church early. She would have been like, hell no. But it never happened anyway because my dad was a steward for the church, so we would get done with church and then you would go out to the patio and there would be coffee and tea or something and maybe some cookies or donuts or something out, and everybody be hanging out there and men would be smoking pipes and people would be standing around smoking cigarettes and talking and stuff, and we would all be just dying to go home. But my dad would be like on the roof of the church checking for leaks and stuff. And I'm like, why is he on the roof again? Can we go home? I just wanted to go home, but it always took him forever.
Yeah.
You guys, if you have questions for Jay, you can put them in the chat or you can come up. The guest box is open. If you're on YouTube, you can ask a question and I'll be happy to read those questions out for you. Try to put them in all caps for me. It's the only time you're allowed to talk in caps is when you're asking one of my guests a question, and I'll read them out. Were your parents or family members all strongly religious?
My dad's not strongly religious. My mom is the strongly religious one. Actually, my mom is training to be an evangelical preacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, she knows I don't believe, but it's not like something we debate about or anything. She just rather not talk about it.
Yeah, I got you. At least, she's not always, down your back about it or something, Did you ever feel like religion shaped your childhood friendships?
No, it wasn't really a large thing. I mean, honestly, until I got to high school, I just assumed, no, not high school, until I got to middle school, I assumed everybody was Christian, but when I went to middle school, then I seen people who were Muslim, people who were Hindu, Sikh, different religions, Buddhist, so it was kind of like, oh, what are all these things? And then of course, I would go to church and learn why these religions were not true.
Yeah.
It was kind of funny.
Yeah. Were there particular traditions or rituals you grew up with that stand out that were, because for me as a Methodist, it's not very ritualistic. There isn't, there's nothing. Methodists are
Really?
very, very boring. Yeah, really. Like, we go into church on Sunday. Everybody sits down. There's not a lot of that kneeling and standing up. We stand up during hymns, and that's about it. They even bring you the little bread and the juice. You don't even have to get up out of your seat to take communion.
Yeah, at my church they pass them around too. I would say I don't know if there was any like super fancy tradition. I just remember the music was pretty good. And that's about it. We had the typical communion. If someone did get baptized, it was a gigantic deal. But other than that, it was just the church of my youth was very formulaic. Like, you listen to some songs, you hear a couple prayers, and then you go home.
That's cool. Yeah, we were not ritualistic at all. I became ritualistic because, I had to go all in. I had to make it my whole personality. But that was a me thing. That was not something that I was taught in the church or anything. As a teenager, did you question your faith or did you lean into it?
I did not lean into it, nor did I question it. I kind of just assumed it was true. It was kind of weird. It's like, of course, Noah's Ark makes sense. Like, now I know. It's like I wouldn't necessarily believe that, but when I was a kid, yeah, I definitely believed that it was true. Or
Yeah.
when I was a teenager, rather.
as a teenager, I really leaned into it. I've told my story before, but when I was 3, my mother abandoned all of her children, all of her 8 children, and my father was arrested. And so we were split up to go live with aunts and uncles, and I went to live with aunt and uncle out in California. And so as I was growing up and getting older, I had abandonment issues. And I could not let this God abandon me, so I had to like go all in, to make sure he didn't abandon me too,
Wow.
So yeah, I made it my whole freaking personality, especially as a teenager. Ugh. I cringe thinking how I was as a teenager. I was insufferable. Did you ever imagine yourself staying in the faith long term? Did you think like that was just gonna be who you were your whole life, or were you always kind of like, I can kind of take it or leave it? It's not.
I could kind of take it or leave it. I mean, when I was in high school, it was kind of like the idea that someone could be non-religious was just not a thing in my friend group. So it's kind of weird. But I never felt like it was something essential because, unlike my friends, I had people in my life who were religious but were awful people. So I never bought into the idea that you had to be religious to be a good person, because I knew plenty of people who were religious and were terrible people.
Oh yeah. I wish I had, like, I just didn't think about a lot of things back then. I mean, being indoctrinated is like so much, I think so much worse than people really understand. Like how much being brought up to believe all this silliness is true from the time you're a very young child, and having it, it's like brainwashing. It's so much brainwashing. So I just didn't think of a lot of things like that. I didn't think, oh, there's really bad people in church too, like, that's kind of weird. I didn't think about things like that. And I wish I thought about it. I questioned a lot of things about the Bible, but I would let apologetics and stuff just, pacify me. Did you?
It's.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I was just gonna say, it's kind of like you looking back on it, like you do accept a lot of thought-terminating cliches rather than just having the actual discussion. Like, how could you gather 2 of every animal and then put them in a boat and then not have the animals attack each other? It's kind of like...
Yeah. And just like, how do you gather 2 of every animal? Like, how do you even do that? What does that process look like? You're also building the boat, and you're also like a fucking 100 years old. What the... Like, how are you doing all of this,
Building the boat. And they go to different climates, too, because, like, kangaroos are supposed to be on Noah's Ark, but how are kangaroos leaving Australia to go to the ancient Near East? And didn't, like, he stop by and drop them off after each one? Because I'm pretty sure the water just goes away.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. And I never questioned all this. I did have questions, like, I was really mad. I was like, why is Eve getting punished for doing something when she didn't even know it was wrong? I did feel that way. And even if she and Adam got punished, why am I being punished? I wasn't in that fucking garden. What the fuck? And stuff. So I was really mad about stuff like that already as a Christian. Were there any parts of the religion that you struggled with early on with questions like that?
So I had a very hard time accepting things that I could not question. So, like, I'd have questions, but there's, like, in the black church, there's just, like, you're not supposed to question that, or you're not supposed to talk about certain things. And I had a hard time accepting that, because, like, if this is true, why can't I have questions? Because, like, I remember asking my mom, like, why, if God is, like, this great person or thing, did he allow the transatlantic slave trade to happen? And she's like,
Welcome in, Son of May
Well,
Raiders. Thank you for raiding. Welcome in.
hello, Zena. Yeah, she in her answer was like, "Well, God had a plan to like make all of us Christian," and it's like, if that's the reason, that's not a really good reason to allow such a horrible thing to happen, or cause
Yeah.
it rather.
I remember even thinking, like, there was so many things like that. Like, I couldn't understand, like, why did he flood the earth? Couldn't he, isn't he magical? Like, couldn't he have just said, poof, all of you are going to behave, or whatever. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I just thought so many weird things. And I remember thinking, like, why all the animals? And the one that I also thought all the time, too, is, why did people have to put blood on their door or for the spirit to know not to hit that house? Why doesn't the spirit already know that? Thank you, KJ. If it's God, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it also says we're gonna like celebrate that for all generations until the end of the earth, and we don't. And I didn't understand that either. There were so many things like that I was like, but what? If he's all knowing, why the blood? Zena May Raiders, if you would like to come up, say hi to Jay, ask Jay a question. The guest box is open. Come on up. Today is Decon Q&A with CrystalJae and Jay. So come on up. Let's just have a really great show. If you're shy, don't have a great mic, never joined a live before, you can also ask your question in chat. Put it in all caps. I'll be happy to read it out to Jay. But yeah, let's have a great live. And if you're joining over on YouTube, you can do the same over there. I check it as frequently as humanly possible. I've heard Methodists are at least pretty liberal. Yeah, Methodists, at least to my knowledge, are pretty liberal. By the time I left it, they had started a slogan that said, open doors, open hearts, open minds, or something like that, meaning that they were going to accept everybody. So, yeah, so I have heard they are pretty liberal for sure. All right. As a teenager, I already asked you that. Let's see. What was the first thing that you feel was the crack in your foundation?
The first
Or was there
thing,
one?
the idea that I couldn't pray to God out, just inside my head, because like it was a big thing that you had to say amen, you have to thank God for this and that, and like, but how do you know that I'm not thanking God in my own way? Why do I have to do it in the way that you think? And it just no one was ever able to explain that to me, because if God, wants a relationship and I'm able to establish that relationship, how are you going to tell me that relationship is wrong?
Yeah, for sure. For me, I feel like everything was always building up, like having all those questions, and I did have them a lot, and I tried to suppress them, and I tried to be like I said, pacified by the apologists, but I don't think it was really working on me, because there was so much cognitive dissonance for me, So, but I've said this before. I think there were things like when my dad died on the table for 7 minutes, and then he came back, and he was such a devout Christian man, and for him to come back and tell me there was nothing, that started to make me think that it was all bullshit, And then my son came back from college and was like, I'm an atheist. And I'm like, huh. He's like one of the smartest people I know, like, I need to think about these things, and so it was just all little things for me, not necessarily one big thing. On a Mission says, I just want to thank you and Jay for what you do. Thank you so much, On a Mission. We appreciate
Thank
you. Yeah, that's awesome. Did your deconstruction then happen gradually? Do you feel you're still deconstructing? What do you feel like the process of deconstruction has been for you?
I mean, I guess I would classify myself as still deconstruction, deconstructing rather. Like I say this, like if you want to like argue that there's like a theistic being out there, sure, or whatever. Like I don't have a problem with that. I don't see proof of that, but like you would have a hard time convincing me that God would care if like you masturbated or something like that. Because that's just like why would he? But the Bible God is just like a monster. Like it's just not a being that I would want to have a relationship with because people say all these fun things like he's like the standard of goodness and all this other stuff, but it's not. Like the things he do, you can't do, so that's how you know that it isn't good.
Right?
But in terms of like my journey, I guess I would say pretty much after I started getting into philosophy was probably the end of any sort of hope of like Christianity. Just because like it doesn't make sense and you hear the arguments for God and it's kinda like, damn, is that really all there is? And you join TikTok and people are giving these same garbage arguments that they always give.
Yeah. I heard one day this Christians say, well, atheists always argue the same, verses over and over again in the Bible. And he goes, and it hasn't changed for like, 100 years. And I'm like, that's because the Bible's still the same Bible. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want us to, like, what argument should we have? It's not a different book. It hasn't changed. It's the same one. And we're still trying to tell you how stupid it is. Like, like, so you're arguing the same thing too, Christian. Did you ever study any other religion, Jay?
No, just because I never saw the point, and it's often that you have to believe something stupid. Like the Nation of Islam believes that their founder isn't dead, but he's like floating outside on a spaceship. And it's just like, if you honestly believe that, then like what am I going to complain about you? Like, it's just like if I have an imaginary friend, how can I tell you your imaginary friend is also wrong? Like that's not it's like that's what I would be doing. Like, no, my imaginary friend is real, your imaginary friend is not real. And there would be no point. I mean, like I think Buddha was like an actual historical person, but even then, like there's
he
still
didn't want people
not a
to pray
perfect
to
thing.
him either, from what I've heard. He was just
Yeah,
a teacher. Like he was like, I don't pray to me.
yeah. I mean, I think there are useful things like philosophically that you can take from each religion, but in terms of like studying it to like actually practice, absolutely not. No.
I was one of those Christians, Jay, that would tell people, I have studied many religions and Christianity is proven to be more true. But by studying, what I had meant was that I had like read one paper or one book or one thing on another religion.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Oh, yeah. So, and then after I left Christianity, I was like, nah, none of them are real. This is just ridiculous. Yeah. How did your close family and your friends react when, or did you tell them, or did you share it with everybody?
Share that I'm an atheist, or like share that I do like lives.
That you deconstruct it and that you're an atheist.
They don't really talk religion with me, so they don't really know what my positions are on it. It's kind of let's not discuss this sort of situation. Yeah, I'm not gonna preach to them what I think about Jesus or anything, or because I also don't appreciate being preached at. But it does mean I have to kind of like hold my tongue when, you go to family celebrations and things like that. Like I went to a wedding where like everyone was just talking about how good God was, and it's like I just had a thought, like, and I love my cousin dearly, but it's like if someone I married told me that they love God more than me, I don't know how I would feel about that.
El Oso Ray, I think is the guy's name in chat right now, said he's scared to share the gospel. Is that true? Are you, Jay?
No, and not scared to share it. Oh, damn it, he dropped the interception. No, it's not. It's not that I'm scared to have a discussion, but it's just like you never know where the line is with each individual family member. Kind of like,
Yeah.
like how deep of a conversation can you have, versus just the surface level. God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good. It's just like if someone genuinely
Yeah,
believes that, there's only so much you can talk about with that person.
it's true. Shira asks, were y'all ever like afraid of God's wrath?
I was. I mean, I believed in hell for a bit, but then after a while, it kind of just doesn't really make sense all that much. Because, if God made you, right, then he should know which standard of evidence you would need. And if he really wants a deep relationship with you, then why couldn't he give you that necessary personal revelation that everyone claims they receive?
I was not scared of hell because I was for sure going to heaven. Are you kidding me? I'm serious. This is so dumb, but I wasn't. I was scared about other people going to hell. I was scared the people I loved might go to hell, but I wasn't scared about me going to hell. What I was scared about was what if there was no heaven? And now I don't believe there is one, and there's nothing scary about that. So, I just wasn't scared of God. I didn't even understand why people said you should fear God. Like, I didn't get that saying at all. I thought, why, if we're supposed to have a personal relationship, would I fear him? Like, it just was really another thing of cognitive dissonance for me where I was just like, none of this makes sense.
Yeah, it's might makes right. He's the
Yeah.
strongest being in the universe, so you have to fear him. But if he's all good, then there shouldn't be anything to fear.
Yeah. So I really wasn't very scared of him. Um, it just wasn't that way for me. But maybe I should have. I don't know. What would you say? Oh wait, I'm sorry. Was there a specific book, video, or a person who really helped you along the way when you were deconstructing?
The writings of James Baldwin probably would have been the greatest help.
Is there a particular book by James that you really liked?
No Name on the Street. I want to say probably. There's also a speech he gave. There's a book of collected speeches that he gave, but I'm blanking on the name of it. The Fire Next Time is good, but that wasn't really all that. In terms of deconstruction, more like in terms of like actual politics, that did help a lot. Because when I was in grad school, that was when Donald Trump came to power the first time, and I just could not wrap my head around why we got that. And then I read Baldwin. I was like, oh, okay, I can kind of understand why people would do this. But his speech, James Baldwin did a debate with William F. Buckley. It's on YouTube. That speech is very good, and that kind of helped me along my journey because it kind of understands. It helped me understand the vitriol, kind of, when you say, "Oh, I don't believe this stuff," and it's like, what? How could you not? Because it's like saying like, oh no, I don't like America. Like it was like, how could you not like America? It's the greatest country in the world when clearly it's not the greatest country in the world by like any metric.
Yeah.
But like we just say that, and once you tell
Right.
someone that it's not, it's like you're crazy because this is where you live. This is where you grew up. How could this not be the greatest country in the world? If you Google or YouTube James Baldwin William F. Buckley speech, you can find the full speech. James Baldwin goes third after the two college kids, and William F. Buckley embarrassed himself in the second half.
I'm gonna have to go watch that for sure. If I remember, you guys, either when I'm playing this back later, at some point I'll try to put that in my channel on the Discord or on my Discord. You guys, if you're not part of the Deconstruction Junction Discord, you should be. The link is in my bio. It's absolutely free to join, and there's a bunch of people from the deconstruction community in that Discord. I also have a Discord, and it's free for everybody to join, and that's just about my shows, when I go live, who I talk to, who I interview, and so forth. So feel free to join that as well. What emotions do you feel were like strongest for you during your deconstruction? Did you have fear? Did you feel freedom? Was there grief? Was there excitement? Was it a mixture? What do you feel like you went through?
I don't know if I felt any like great pangs of emotion because, like I said, religion wasn't to me a like super strong foundation, so I didn't feel that experience of like grieving or like I felt like I had a strong relationship with God. So it was kind of just like, oh, well, it's just life. But I mean, it's more of a I can kind of understand the arguments that people give for God because I used to think those things. I just never took them to the logical extremes that other people did. But being on the other side, you kind of see how it also doesn't make sense. Like I like the reason why I've have little patience for certain arguments more than others is because I know that the degree of seriousness that you have to take it doesn't really merit the discussion. Like if someone tells you, "Oh, if you look at the sun, that's proof of God," and it's like, well, then what are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but just look at the trees for sure. Okay,
That's all you need to
just
do.
do that one. It's all you need to do. Okay. I actually thought when I first joined started hanging around the deconstruction community, and I heard a few atheists or deconstructionists make that joke about look at the trees, that they were kind of like exaggerating what somebody might say if they were to say like look at the nature and you can see design or something, until I heard how many Christians literally say the word go outside and look at the trees. And then I was like, what the fuck, they really what? So yeah. Hey, can you hang on one second? I have my phone plugged in, but the cord is not working, so I'm going to get a different cord. I'll be right back.
No, take your time. Hi, Shelly. God damn, Aaron.
See if this one works.
I don't know about entertaining, Selena, but I can tell you that the Steelers just went 3-0.
Okay, you guys, the guest box is open. I don't know why you guys are all being weird today and not coming up. But get up here and talk to Jay.
Yeah, I can answer Mama Bash's questions. No, I'm not married. No, I don't have kids. And I'm single.
All right. Hey, Shelly, how are you today?
Hey, I am pretty good doing the capitalism thing. How are y'all doing?
Doing good. Yep. Did you have a question for Jay today?
I had a quick question. First, I just want to say, Jay, I always enjoy your lives. Your topics are especially like the one I think really gets to the heart of, I don't know, you just see the cognitive dissonance, just, you can hear it almost. It's like so, I don't know. It's just, I always enjoy your panels and your topics, and yeah, it's just always funny and educational. But I had a non-religious question for you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I mean, it's nothing too personal or weird, I promise. I was just curious. I know you're, and I was just now able to listen in, so I'm not sure if this is beating a dead horse or not, but I was curious if you could recommend some beginner jazz albums.
Oh, yeah, this is the first jazz question I have got.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yep. So the first, it depends on which you like, but general jazz, I would recommend Dave Brubeck, Time Out, I want to say it is. Dave Brubeck, anything from Chet Baker from the Pacific Jazz label, some of his Riverside stuff, some Thelonious Monk, Miles Davis, Round Midnight, Kind of Blue, Birth of the Cool, early Coltrane, just anything that's not like free jazz, because you kind of have to develop an ear for jazz to appreciate what's going on in free jazz, and even then it can be very abrasive because that's like the whole point of it. But Charlie Parker, Dizzy Gillespie, stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, the free jazz, I definitely have not trained my ear to that. I hear it and it's like nails on a chalkboard. But definitely
Sometimes it's supposed to be, though. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, and I get that. I've had people tell me that. That's the point. And I'm like, I don't know, it just gives me anxiety. But I was just wanting to pick your brain.
Yeah, no, thanks for that.
Yeah, but hopefully you have some other questions, and thank you again for your lives. I always appreciate them. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the live, and I'll be listening.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah. Bye, Crystal.
Bye, sorry. Guys, my husband just started hosing off the window really loud.
I was gonna say, I couldn't tell if something was on fire or about to blow up. I wasn't sure, but glad everything's okay.
He just forgets sometimes, and he's like, "Oh, I thought I'm outside, so you can't hear me." No, we can hear you. Thank you, Shelley, for coming up.
Thank y'all.
Good morning, Erin. How are you today?
Good morning, Crystal. It's not morning here, but it's afternoon. I'm doing well.
Like noon now, so I guess I should stop saying good morning. But welcome to the show. Do you have questions for Jay today?
Sure. Jay, I have not followed. I just started following you, so I'm not familiar with your channel, but Crystal always gives me the best creators to follow, so I trust her. But I like to ask everyone, do you believe Jesus was a real person or not, and why?
I'm agnostic. Like, if you want to trust the historical evidence that Jesus was real, sure. I mean, I could grant you that he's a historical person, but the evidence that he did all the things is just not historical, in my opinion. Like, it's basically all you have is the Bible. No independent historian tells you that he did all these fantastic claims. And the people who supposedly have these eyewitness testimonies come back decades later. And it's also kind of difficult, in my opinion, that Jesus never wrote anything, because it's not like it was a common practice in antiquity, because Julius Caesar wrote stuff, Alexander the Great wrote stuff, hell, Darius the Great wrote stuff. So, like, the idea that Jesus couldn't write down a sentence or a book of anything is kind of weird to me, but, yeah.
Do you think, I'm not, Crystal, maybe you know, because a lot of people wasn't being able to write like a luxury back then. Like, would a carpenter even know how to write things down without somebody to write it for him?
Oh, no, he would probably need a scribe, but there were scribes, and I believe even who were among him, among the people who followed him around and stuff. I think we want to say about 10% of them knew how to write. So, for instance, the reason why I don't believe that 500 people or 5,000 people were fed and 500 people saw him resurrect, those stories don't ring true to me because at least 10% of those people could write and 0 wrote about those things. So that's kind of wild.
That's an
Also to not to butt in, Aaron, but like if he could walk on water and heal people and multiply loaves of bread and fishes, him not being able to write is a major dent in that story. That is like a massive plot hole.
That is a plot hole.
That's a
Why
massive
couldn't
plot
he
hole.
just
That's
miraculously write? Yeah,
That's
him
a
being
really good
carpenter
point.
shouldn't have-
Like,
yeah. That's
like
true.
why didn't God give him the ability to write this all down, like make a rule book for us, so we wouldn't have to ask so many questions? Yeah, that's a good point.
True.
Okay, that was it.
Thanks for coming up,
Okay,
Aaron.
well,
That
we
was a
are
great
going to play the game later. If you want to join us later for the game, that would be awesome. If you want to stay up here in case you have questions along the way, you could stay up as always, Aaron. Hi, Sincere. How are you today?
I'm all right. How are you? How are y'all?
Doing good. Did you have a question for Jay today?
Yes, I do. So I've been coming into Jay's lives, and I got attracted to being in Jay's lives because of like him like playing the jazz and the education, and like he's just an all around funny dude. Um,
Thank you.
but if I'm not mistaken, like you're from Rochester, right, Jay?
I am.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm from Buffalo, and I remember in one of your lives you were talking about like the jazz festivals and stuff
hmm
that happens in your city. So I wanted to know like, have you ever been to like the jazz and like funk festivals in Buffalo?
I have not. I should. Um, because Buffalo is a larger city, so there's probably larger acts. But the Rochester Jazz Fest has been pretty solid in terms of doing that. But there is a blues festival in Buffalo that I've been meaning to go to for quite some time.
Yeah. If you ever like ever in the summertime, you ever so happen to be in Buffalo, I would definitely go. Especially for the Funk Fest stuff. Because they always have like special guests. Like I think this year they had the Gap Band come out. Um,
Okay.
but from what I've been told, from like my parents and family or whatever, that Buffalo Funk is a bit different from like P Funk.
Okay.
I don't know like detail wise, and it may be like if you ever went or whatever, like you could probably like peep out and like tell the difference with stuff. So as a music connoisseur, I just figure I'll just lend that invitation. Like
Yeah, no,
it's something cool to check out.
I've been meaning to try and make my way out there. But yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. That was it.
Did you have any other questions?
No, that was it. That was all.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming up, Sincere. I really appreciate you. Good afternoon, I guess, for us, because it just turned noon here. Did you have some questions for Jay today?
Yes. Is your name Jay Gilmore, sir?
Not legally, no.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering, would you like to hear a ChatGPT synopsis of Job?
No, I would not. He's messing with me. So during my Job lives, I asked the question, how is God good in the story of Job? And what everyone does is come up and give me a summary of Job and not tell me how God's actions in the story of Job are good, even though I asked repeatedly for them not to either tell me what Job did in the story or give me a summary of the story.
What if I did it anyway? Instead, you know what, sir? I'll just tell you how Job was good in the story, okay?
Sure, go for it,
Yeah, he wasn't good because he's still bowing down to a god that would fuck him over and his whole family. And
Yeah.
Job did get some more beautiful children after, but I think he would have preferred his original children.
Yeah, I mean, that's the weird thing about that story is that if God restored Job to everything and he blessed him tenfold, why didn't he just resurrect his kids?
Right?
Did God also then force him to like do it with his wife a bunch more? I mean, because he didn't just like magically bless him. Like Job had to put in work after that. So I think God is
You
just
think it?
a big
I
watcher.
think he had concubines or other wives. I don't think it was the same wife
Oh,
because
just 20
she
more
didn't get
children.
her 10 kids back. Yeah, I think there was just other women birthed children for him.
Not-
I mean, if we're gonna stick with the Bible, right?
Javarius is one of my favorite creators because I can go in there and just know that like something funny is going to happen regardless, just because of the quality of the guests that he gets. It seems to start at a bad point and then continue to deteriorate into just frivolous nothingness, which is my favorite part about Christianity. At this point, it's just evolved into a culture of not answering questions, bloviating, obfuscating, and just making things up in general. But I think that's the whole, premise of the religion anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
True.
Anyway,
God replacing his wife and all of his children, it just lends to the whole biblical idea that women and children are property.
or
Like,
just
here's some new
very
kids, you
replaceable.
can completely forget about your old ones.
Replaceable, interchangeable, insignificant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It also means that God doesn't value life, by the way.
Correct.
right.
Excellent.
Wait, Javarius, I have a serious question. I think you've told me this before. I don't think you care that much about sports, but do you care about any NFL team?
Oh, when did I ever tell you I don't care about sports? That is not true.
I thought you said that
I'm a huge Steelers fan.
That's
I'm a huge
right,
fan
because
of
you
the
said, I
NFL.
hope that the Steelers would win the Super Bowl, but I know that's not going to happen the other day.
Yeah, I also know the Cowboys aren't going to win it either.
All right, can you drop this guy, actually? I changed my mind about him entirely.
You walked right into that.
Yeah.
No, but I have. What I told you is that I don't have a strict NBA team, but I'm a fan of the league. I root for the Yankees. I like Paris Saint-Germain, the football.
Okay, now I'm
team.
getting rid of him. What the?
B up
Who's your-
is going to provide
your
you with some amazing questions, Jay. Anyway, I love you, and
This is a Red Sox only channel, Jay.
Oh,
Well, you didn't tell me that when I
Oh,
sent
I
over
was
the
about to say, I
contract for you to join today.
are you a Celtics fan and a Patriots fan too?
No, I'm not a Patriots fan, and I'm not a basketball fan in general. So no.
Everybody's just
But
saying
I-
oh no in the chat, so I'm just going to put oh
But
no.
I hate the Yankees. I hate the Yankees.
That's
And
required.
anybody who hates the Yankees, yeah.
That's required. That's like a requirement of baseball fans. If you're not that team, is to hate
It's
the
not a
Yankees.
requirement.
Requirement is to hate the Yankees. Requirement is to hate
That's
the
right.
Requirement is to
That's
hate the
right.
Cowboys. That's just how it is.
All that means is
It's
that
true.
you guys never had a standard of excellence in your life, and it shows.
Wow.
You mean a standard of cheating? That's what you mean.
The last thing I'll say before B-Up gets you with his genius questions in his interview is that I think I was there with Jay back when he had 10 people in his live and we were 2 of them. So I've been there from way back when with Jay, and I appreciate you, Jay, and I think I love you, man, and I wish you continued success in whatever you do on this platform and outside of it.
Yeah, thank you, Forrest.
Of
But
course.
before you drop down, Forrest, I
Yes, ma'am.
have DM'd you. You guys, I just want you to know I've invited Forrest to be on the show, but he's just too good to return my DMs.
I have
so-
not read any of them, so I will do that now. I get a lot
All
of
right, love you, Forrest.
hate DMs, by the way.
I know, but I'm not
Yeah, I get a
one.
lot
I'm
of-
not one. Unless you tell me you love the Yankees, I won't send you hate
I do
DMs.
not
I
love
might
the
send
Yankees.
Jay some now, but
I do not
I'm
love the
just
Yankees.
saying.
I'm a Rangers fan and the DFW team, but we have nothing but cataclysmic lack of success in all DFW teams. So you can drop me down, but I love you both.
All right. Thanks, Forrest. Love you too, you guys. Big W in the chat for Forrest. If you're not following Forrest, you should. He's brilliant. He's funny. Hey, B Up, how are you?
Awesome. How are you?
Doing well. It's nice to meet you. I see you around all the time, but I haven't had a chance to meet you. It's very nice to meet you. Did you have some questions for Jay today?
I did not.
You did not. Did you just want to come up and hang out?
Is there a Christian?
Is Jay a Christian?
Oh, is that?
Yeah.
No one on the stage currently is a Christian, but you be up.
Oh, cool. Nice. All right, cool. No questions.
Well-
I guess, was I supposed to come in asking questions? I didn't know.
Yeah,
It's a Decon Q&A with me.
with
All right,
CrystalJae,
cool.
and Jay's the guest. So if you don't have any questions, we'll just drop you back down in the chat. But thanks for joining. I have more questions. And if you have more questions and you are in the chat, you can either ask them in the chat. I ask if you could just put them in all caps. It's easier for me to see if chat is scrolling. Or you can request up. The guest box is open. So Jay, do you remember what the first jazz song or artist was that really hooked you?
Thelonious Monk. It was.
Really?
I want to say. Yes, it was. Not Rhythm Thing. It was Mysterioso. It's Mysterioso from the 1947 album, The Genius of Modern Jazz or Modern Music.
Now, who
That
showed
was the first
you
song that I was like, me.
Really? How did you
Yes,
find
so-
something from the 40s to listen to? Like, what made you go, I want to, go look into this?
Okay, so there's a scene in the Blues Brothers movie where Elliot picks up Jake, and then they go back to his hotel in that weird closet that Elwood lives in, and he puts on a record, and it's Louis Jordan's "Let the Good Times Roll." It was last Thursday, and that was actually a recommendation from Taharka. That was Herbie Hancock's actual proof. But he put on the Louis Jordan record, and I really liked that song. So then I was just searching artists like similar to Louis Jordan, even though Thelonious Monk is not similar to Louis Jordan in any real way.
No.
And then I found who Thelonious Monk was, and then it was like I would just read his wiki. So then I found his music, and the first song I heard from him was Mysterioso.
Oh, wow. Very cool. I have not listened to old jazz in so long. I've listened to modern jazz recently, but not anything old. Who are your top 3 favorite jazz musicians of all time?
Oh, I hate questions like this because I'll always forget someone. But top 3, it would have to be Thelonious Monk, Charles Mingus, and I will say, if it's personal, then it would have to be Hank Mobley because he's like criminally underrated, but he's like one of my favorite saxophone players.
If you could sit in on a jam session with any jazz musicians, who would you want to sit in with? Dead or alive? We can go back in time.
It would probably have to be the Verve Jam session where Charlie Parker played with Johnny Hodges. Just to see what that was like.
Yeah, for sure. So I liked jazz too. For a long time I was really into jazz, but it was back in the 80s. So it was 80s jazz music. So it was Herbie Hancock. It was David Sanborn. It was Al Jarreau. It was that. I would love to sit in on some of Al Jarreau's, like when he did Take 5 or Accentuate the Positive or something like that, because his vocal range was just crazy, and the things he could make his voice do to sound like instruments and stuff was crazy. So I really enjoyed him. Do you prefer classic jazz standards or more? You prefer classic, right? More than the experimental jazz.
Depends on who's doing it. But typically I prefer classic jazz more than to the fusion, but that's not to say like I don't have fusion records that I don't like. And then there's just some bands from the 70s who didn't really do classic jazz, but were really good, like The Awakening. Were pretty good. Sun Ra, his 70s period was really good too.
Well, I'll get back on some of the deconstruction questions, but I do have more of the jazz questions too.
Whichever one you want to answer, or ask rather, because I love talking about jazz. I did jazz and blues radio show for like 6 years, so
That's
I
cool.
do kind of like. I've been toying with the idea of doing like a subscriber only, like jazz and blues radio show.
That would be cool.
I don't know if I'm actually going to do it. Zena's been saying that I should do it. I think I'm probably going to take her advice because she always gives great advice. So.
She does have great advice. So what role did prayer play for you growing up? Were you a prayer warrior? Did you believe you could talk to God? Could you hear God?
Well, I've never heard God. When I was a kid, I believed that God like listened to my prayers, but I never heard anything back. And then after a while, I just stopped doing it, and
I was one of those idiots that thought the voice in my head was God talking to me. So I was in constant prayer, and God had lots to say. Okay. It was actually a really hard thing for me when my son came to me and told me that he didn't believe anymore. And I've talked about this before too. Yes, this is on YouTube. It's on my channel. I am CrystalJae, Jae, all one word. He told me like that he didn't believe anymore, and it dawned on me right then and there in that moment in time that all those times like I had come to him and told him that God had a word for him, that now now in his mind I was just like talking to myself or something, and I was like, oh my God, you think I have an imaginary friend? Well, he was right. I did have an imaginary friend, so he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
My daughter recently reminded me that I grounded her when she was in 3rd grade because she said she was an atheist. She went to Christian school, and she said she was an atheist in 3rd grade. I was still a Christian. My daughter didn't believe before me, and I grounded her. I feel so bad for doing that.
Well, I'll make you feel better. I'll tell you something horrible I did as a Christian mom, and then you can feel really good, okay? I had 3 children. And during the summer, that can be a lot for a mom. You don't understand, okay? They're in school all day, and now they're home all day. That's a lot, okay? So I would take my children to Vacation Bible School every week, because there was a different one in town every week, so that I would get
I was guilty of that. I did that.
What is the Vacation Bible School?
It's like a couple-hour long Sunday school for kids in elementary school, and I think it goes up to like about 6th grade somewhere. Yeah, and it goes on for about a week, and it's actually just a commercialized way for them to sell propaganda and indoctrination to our children. Yeah, it's not good for them. Highly don't recommend. Okay.
Yeah, I regret sending my kids to church camp because there were things that went on. Not that directly affected my kids, but I can remember there being like nefarious things with youth camp. So
there was one Vacation Bible School that, this is a very true story, that my daughter started crying. She was a toddler, like 3, as we pulled into the parking lot, and she had already been one day, so this was day 2. And I immediately turned around and left. I was like, I don't know why she doesn't want to go back in there. And I tried to talk to her afterwards, make sure, nobody had hurt her or anything. And she still to this day says nobody did. She doesn't know why she cried like that. But I wasn't risking it. Even then, I was smart enough to go, what? She's screaming and crying as we approach this church. She's not going in. Taking her out of here.
Yeah. I think I don't think I consciously went to one of those things. But I do remember one of my friends when I was a kid had like this Bible thing, and then they would like lure you in with pizza, and then while you're eating pizza, they would try to talk to you about Jesus. I don't remember exactly what they said, so I don't think it worked, but
Yeah, pizza is a big way that they lure you in as a kid in the indoctrination process. There's always pizza involved. So, were there particular church leaders or pastors that you looked up to when you were younger?
yeah, the pastor of my church when I was growing up, I did like him. He played saxophone, and he had like an actual structured theology. He had a structured theology that you can kind of figure out how he got to his positions, just because he had a doctorate from like Colgate and things like that. So it was pretty unique, and then you kind of appreciate those things when you go to just random people who just get up and preach and don't have any kind of justification for what they're saying other than that they like this version of God. And the reason why you kind of learn why people show up is because they like the version of God that the preacher preaches, not that there's like some uniform version of God.
Mama Bash wants to know, what instrument does Jay play?
I used to play the tenor saxophone. I've been toying with the idea of like buying a vintage tenor saxophone. It's like only $100, but I'd have nowhere to play it, and I'd also have to buy music lessons. And my life's a bit too hectic for me to kind of slot out the time. But like all throughout college, I picked it back up, and then in grad school, I had to set it back down because my life was just too hectic.
I'm sure, though, and I'm just doing this to encourage you. I'm sure, though, that there are plenty of instructions on YouTube. And so, like, I'm sure if you picked up one, that you wouldn't have to pay for lessons necessarily these days. I'm just trying to encourage you to maybe pick one up again. You might think about, and there's got to be somewhere you can play that thing, there's got to be some place. I bet we could figure that out too. Do it, practice space.
Yeah.
So did you go to youth group or church camps at all when you were younger?
Absolutely not. Like I said, it was kind of a Sunday thing. Like my mom went to Bible study and all the other type of stuff, but I didn't.
Was music a part of your religious experience at all?
Well, the music is the best part in the Baptist church. It's like the only reason you go to black church is for the music and occasionally the food. Because, the music really sells the experience. So yeah, it was a big part, but like, do I like listen to gospel or do I like have favorite gospel songs? No. I guess the only gospel song I really like are the ones that Thelonious Monk play. And Nearer My God to These kind of still a nice song to hear sometimes, but other than that, no.
So you guys had really good potlucks, huh?
Yeah. The food was a very important part.
Could you imagine what a potluck was when I was growing up, Jay?
I could
all-white
not.
Church?
I could not.
I did not look forward to our potlucks because I actually can cook, and it was not good. It was not good. 47 different kinds of potato salad, many with raisins, was not good.
Oh wow, that's an actual thing. That's sad. And I don't even like potato salad.
Okay, I joked for I didn't joke. I was telling my kids this for a long time, but it was one day we actually saw the ad somewhere and I was able to show them. But when I was growing up, many of the women learned how to cook from recipes in magazines that were put out by Kraft, the company Kraft.
Yeah.
And they were fucking horrible. They were just disgusting, okay? And one of them, they were also stupid and just like, not even recipes, if you will. So my mom used to make us eat this thing that she saw in a Kraft freaking recipe where she would take these little plate, like, so you would have your main plate, but she would give us a little plate and she'd put a piece of lettuce down on it. And then she would put a canned pear half on the lettuce. And then she would take a spoonful of Miracle Whip, not the whipping cream, okay? Miracle Whip, the fake mayonnaise. And slap that on top of the pear and then put a maraschino cherry on top. And then we had to eat that shit.
Ew.
I've seen
What's she
people
even
do
going
that with
for?
pineapple. I've seen people do that with pineapple. I've never personally tasted it. Yeah. Remember like the Jello molds and they put like vegetables in them and hot dogs?
Yes! Remember that? It was so gross. So yeah, it was gross. So we definitely had different experiences at our potlucks, Jay, and now I'm jealous of you in many ways, okay? Because it was not fun.
I think potlucks at churches are a great way to learn about gluttony. That's what I used to think how greedy people were, and like people need to learn about gluttony, not homosexuality.
Yeah.
I mean, people are so greedy
remember
at church
too,
potlucks.
people get all jealous of certain, like, people, like, I didn't notice till it happened to me once, but then I realized, oh, I have seen that happen with like the women who can cook really good fried chicken or something. Then the women who don't know how to cook good fried chicken get upset when their husband goes, oh my God, did you taste Betty's fried chicken today at the potluck? And then the wife is all upset because she's like, fuck you.
That's
but
hilarious.
it happened to me once because I made some kind of like a chili relleno casserole, and the eggs were extra like fluffy or whatever in them. And some of the men were talking about, oh my God, this is so great. When my wife makes an egg casserole, the eggs are never fluffy like this. And then I got all the women mad at me because I made a good casserole. And I was like, oh, this is a thing. This is really a thing I didn't know about. When did Jay start deconstructing? That's from Mama Bash.
When did I start deconstructing? I guess it depends on who you ask. I think probably in high school before I graduated. I kind of just had some experiences with religion where it was just like, this shit isn't real.
So that was about the age when you first admitted to yourself you didn't believe anymore? Was like in high school?
Yeah, probably junior year.
I've noticed this very strange phenomenon with a lot of ex-Christians, that it's even after deconstructing, even after no longer believing in the God or reading the Bible or going to church anymore, they still have a very, very hard time taking on the title of atheist. Did you have a problem with taking on that title as well? Or are you not an atheist?
No, I would probably categorize myself as an atheist. What I would say, I mean, because it's kind of, it's like the social backlash is kind of a bit too severe when you say, oh, I'm an atheist. It's like, oh, what, do you believe in God? Like, what? And it's like a whole conversation you have to have. So, I mean, you can like flirt with the idea of being an agnostic theist. Like, you're like, sure, there could be a God, but you don't know. But like, just look at the state of the world. Look how people treat people. Like, if there was a God, don't you think he would have said something while we had like literal slavery, or do you think we as a society basically just got together and kind of like, maybe this is not a good idea?
Yeah, exactly. Mama Bash says, what is your favorite part of going live on TikTok and your least favorite part?
Favorite part of going live on TikTok is hanging out with my friends in the deconstruction community. Xena, Oso, Lex, Forrest, Mac, Selena, Fee when she hangs out, Christina Carroll, Dr. Bowen has been pretty good. Bash as well. Least favorite probably would be getting called slurs. It's not fun. I mean, you get used to it after a while, but that's probably my least favorite part.
I can understand that for sure. I really hate when they've sat there and waited in the box for an hour or something and
just to come up and do that.
I think it's not only just, like, it sucks that they did that, but it's like, it sucks that that's all their life is about too. Like, really? That's, wow. I don't have that kind of time.
It's kind of the people. It's like you can understand. Like, why would people vote the way they do? Because it's like if they can get a chance to hurt you or the idea of hurting you, they're going to take it.
Yeah. I have a question over from YouTube from Phantom Edits. It says, if two minds read each other's minds at the same time, whose thoughts are they actually reading?
I think that question already answered itself. They're reading each other's minds.
There you go.
Because if they're reading them at the same time, then they're reading the other person's minds. It's just happening simultaneously, though. I mean, that's my guess. I mean, this is a pointless question, but...
It is a pointless question, but I just thought I'd read it because it was the only question over on YouTube. You guys, if you have a question over on YouTube, feel free to ask in the chat and I will read it out like I just did. Let's go back to jazz for a little bit.
Sure.
How do you think jazz compares to other genres when it comes to storytelling?
I think, I think blues is probably my favorite genre when it comes to storytelling because jazz, for the most part, is largely instrumental. So the story is kind of whatever you interpret it to be. But the American Songbook is also like just a great collection of life, basically. For a ballad to have any effect, like you would need to be able to believe the story of the song in the first place. It's kind of like you can't listen to I Can't Get Started and like believe that it like has no basis in reality, because it's kind of like, oh, I've been through that. I lived that. That's kind of how I became a fan of the blues, because I got my heart broken. I was like, oh, wow, this too happened to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's like pain is super funny because it feels so personal that it can only happen to you. But then you hear other stories and you realize, oh, this has happened to other people.
It is very universal, and I think that that music, obviously is very universal too. Even if we all, have different genres we enjoy. What made you decide to take your story public through streaming in the first place?
There was a couple of factors. One, I did not have a job at the time. So I had a bunch of time other than, the humiliating process of finding a job. And two, it was the fact that I could say things and people wanted to hear what I had to say. It's like, it's one thing to converse and then figure out that, oh, I really don't know what I'm talking about. But it's another thing to converse, and it's like, oh, people kind of agree with what I'm saying. And if you have something you think you can add to the discussion or a point of view that isn't being discussed in a way that you think is thorough or in a way that you think hasn't been approached, you should go for it. So I figured out questions that I had that kind of bothered me that people weren't really talking about, and slowly built up an audience over time.
Do you remember your very first live stream?
No, it was because it was it was probably like 8 people, so I kind of like forgot it. But I do remember the people who showed up, and kind of like Mac was like one of the first people to show up, and like it was just me and him hanging out with like 9 people. I also came to like one of my first lives, and showed encouragement. So that's why I have love for these people, because they genuinely showed up when I was quite literally and figuratively no one in the deconstruction community.
Yeah, they're pretty awesome. It's a good crew you hang around for sure. They're some of my favorite people on this app for sure. Um, I don't remember my first stream, but I'm very sure it was a non-believers Bible study, and I maybe had 5 people there, so I don't remember. But yeah, I don't remember it either. It's been a while. What's been the most surprising part about creating content?
Uh, that people like what I do, because it's one thing to kind of believe that people like what you do, but like when you get subscribers and you get people that send you gifts, like the fact that you can provide a show for free and people are willing to pay you for your time is always a great indicator of that you're on the right track.
Absolutely. And this community is just so supportive of each other, and I love that. We have a really good community. Has streaming helped your own deconstruction process in unexpected ways?
Yeah, and the fact that I figured you end up doing more research, just historical research, philosophical research, not philosophical research, more in terms of the arguments that people attempt to make. And a lot of TikTok philosophy kind of bothers me, because in order to be good at philosophy, you have to explain complex ideas simply. And in TikTok, it's the exact opposite. It's like, just use the most fanciest words you can use, and then try and hope that no one. Yeah, my old water heater's old. You might probably hear it in the background, but yeah, and the arguments are typically circular. But I've done a lot more historical research. Like, I'm reading the biography of the historical David right now. I'm working my way through Dan McClellan's book, so it has helped.
That's cool. I feel that since joining the deconstruction community here on TikTok, I have a desire to learn more things than I ever thought I would want to learn. Reading more books, going down more rabbit holes. I don't think I ever wanted to learn about philosophy until it just didn't seem interesting to me. Bunch of people sitting around asking questions. just didn't seem fascinating to me. But now I really do like understanding the arguments and understanding why I might, how to look at things from a different perspective. You know what I mean? So I do enjoy it more.
Yeah, it also helped that sorry. It also
No, you got it.
helped that I like formally studied philosophy and like ethics, and I know that there is no such thing as like the ultimate justification or the ultimate truth for anything.
Yeah.
Because if we had that thing, then there would be no ethical dilemma. We would just know what to do.
That makes sense. where would you like to see yourself in the deconstruction community, like say a year from now?
I don't know. Just a place where people can be entertained and also learn and just hang out and probably occasionally listen to jazz.
That sounds like fun. I really do hope you do something with your love for jazz as far as your channel goes, or maybe do a Patreon or something where you do exclusive jazz content over there, some kind of offering for that, because your love for it is evident, and it seems that you have shared it enough with your community that it's even like rubbing off on them, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no,
Do you
I agree.
do you see yourself writing, podcasting, or maybe something else down the line?
I'm probably podcasting. Like, I do have the idea of like turning recordings of my TikTok live streams into an actual podcast. I'm just too lazy to do it. Um, it's
It's
so
so
much
much
work, and there's a
work.
certain
People don't know.
and there's a certain style that I want to do it in, because I hate how the computer records the TikTok live streams. It's like just a bunch of weird black boxes talking, and
Yeah.
it's not something that I would watch. So that's why I don't really repost clips. So I have to kind of find a way that is eye catching, and also I have so many crazy moments on my live streams that I have to like sit down, go through them, see if it's worth recording. I House Door is probably one of my favorite moments. I have to find that one. But yeah, but writing is probably the only one I don't see myself doing. Just because I'm not that confident of a writer.
Yeah, I'm not very confident as a writer. I have been told many times that I should write a book, many times. And my aunt is a writer, and she's prolific. And I don't know how she does it, frankly. And I tell her that all the time. Like, I just couldn't do it. But nowadays, she has shown me that there's a lot of writing tools to help you. And so I am considering writing my first book in the next year or two. But I'm not like fully convinced I want to do it yet, because again, it's not my forte. It's definitely not my forte. What kind of impact do you? I'm sorry, I didn't want to ask that question. If someone new to deconstruction asked you for advice, what's the first thing you would tell them?
Advice into like who to follow, or advice into like what to look into?
On deconstructing in general, they're coming to you, they're telling you, hey, I'm kind of deconstructing. What advice do you want to give me? Is there some books I should read? Are there
I
people
would
I should follow?
say,
Is there something I should do?
well, first I would say my general advice is to follow 3 people: follow Thinker, follow Deconstruction Zone, and then Christina Carroll. And then honestly ask yourself, like, don't look at the apologetic, right? Which is the reflex, but like genuinely ask yourself, if this story happened, right? If you saw another nation invade another nation and then enslave people, would you accept that it's okay because God told them to? Or would you say that's a horrible thing?
That's really good.
Yeah, and you will find that a lot of the things you excuse, you only excuse because someone attached a God to it. Because, like I ask people when I talk about the story of Job, if I unalived your family and gave you 10 random orphans, we wouldn't be cool.
Yeah.
Like that's just
Exactly.
not a thing. But that's basically what God does at the end of that story, and you're here telling me that that's a good thing.
I have a question, Jay. Do you ever worry about I always refer to it as pulling that last thread, because I'm always afraid of like putting somebody in a place. I'm not a creator, but just when I talk to people, I don't want to leave anybody in a place where I've just like pulled that last thread on their faith.
I think that is valid to a point because I'm not forcing people to come on stage to talk to me.
True.
So, like, if you're not secure in your faith, then I'm not the resource to stir your faith. And I often tell people, these conversations doesn't have to be the end of your faith. It doesn't have to be like where the journey stops for you if you encounter something that is troubling, but actually investigate the trouble instead of just sweeping it under the rug, because then it shows that these principles you purport to have, they don't really mean anything if you can't test them or if you can't apply them across the board, because then it doesn't mean you have principles. It means you have things you
Yeah, that's an excellent point, that if people are coming to you, then yeah, I guess they're ready to take whatever you give them.
I want to pull that thread. I want to be the last one. I want to be the one that goes, okay, let's go. I want to rip the Band-Aid off. I want to pull the thread. I want to take it away from them, because once I can take away them relying on faith for what they believe in, I can show them that now you can start, living on what evidence and proof shows you instead of faith. And then they can start living in a true world and not a world made up of fantasies, So I'm okay with pulling that thread.
But I mean, my only problem, like, I had such a dark time because I felt so alone. The area I live in, like, West Virginia is the most Christian red state in the Union. So I just felt very alone with it. And there were just very dark times when I first started deconstructing. However, I had not found the deconstruction community on TikTok yet.
Right.
That's why I feel cautious.
I would be able to offer them that and say, hey, look, we have support, we have a community, we have people, join us, whatever. And I didn't have that either, Aaron, when I first deconstructed, and it is lonely. I grieved. I went through the entire stages of grief. I grieved a lot of things too. It wasn't just that I grieved my community and my friendships and stuff that I knew I would be losing because of this. It was, I grieved that I had a best friend that didn't even exist, I grieved the afterlife that I thought I was going to have. I grieved being able to see people again that I thought I was going to be able to see again, and realizing, oh shit, they're going to be able to see those people again. That was a lie too. So there was so much grief for me. But now I can say, but we have people who want to help you through that grief, and we have people who want to help you deconstruct all the other bullshit that you were indoctrinated into. But it is so freeing to me to not believe the lie anymore, that I want to help other people not believe that lie anymore.
Excellent. And there are the resources here. I'm so thankful. Yeah. I've said it a million times that I found this community.
What's something you're really excited about for your future, either inside the deconstruction space or outside, Jay?
Probably just growing in my audience. It's interesting that people look forward to something that I'm doing in general, kind of like, people are setting aside time on Monday or Tuesday or Thursday to come hang out for the 6 hours that I'm doing the stream. And it's interesting to see how this grows, and being paid from TikTok is obviously it's not a lot, but being paid a cent is kind of very interesting in and of itself. Hello, Mezzo Raiders.
Well, welcome in, Mezzo Raiders. Welcome everybody over from Ass. I hope you had some good ass this morning. I thought I was there earlier in the show. If you are not familiar with ASK, every Sunday,
Atheist
Mezzo
Sunday
does
School.
Atheist Sunday School. And I will be live 11 to 2 on most Sundays now. So whenever you get done with ASK, come over and join me for Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. Today, Jay Gilmore is my guest. Start tapping that screen, sharing out the live. I have a gift goal of 666 roses. If you could help me reach my gift goal, that would be great. Let's try to get those likes up. I like to be up to 100,000 before I end the live, but we're not even at 50,000 yet. And there's 80 of you in here now, so I think we could get those likes up. Make sure you also gift my wonderful panelists. Right now I have Erin, my friend, who always comes up and hangs out with me, and I love her so much. And Jay Gilmore is our special guest today on Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. If you have a question for Jay, get your butt in the box and come on up and ask him a question, whether it's about deconstructing or streaming or jazz. Come on up and ask Jay your questions. And if you're too shy to come up, you can always ask your question in the chat, and I'll be happy to read that out for Jay. And we have CF Jewel joining us. Hey, CF, you have a... Oh, there you go. Hey, CF, how are you today?
Good. How are you, Miss Crystal?
Did you have a question for Jay today?
Yeah, I did. Can you hear me? Are we good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I really like when Jay runs a topic about, I think it's Jephthah's kid, like the human sacrifice topic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So like, how do you really push that into Christians' minds that it's like a sacrifice? You know what I mean?
Oh, so you're talking about the apologetic that she lived in a monastery?
Well,
And I haven't heard that one.
I feel like they try to like bounce around it, but like it's like the vow is to sacrifice a burnt offering, and that is the daughter.
Yes.
So like,
So
How do you push
the vow, you just have to break it down. So the vow is a sacrifice, first off. So the question you have to ask them is, does your version of the Christian God ever accept a human burnt offering? Once they say no, he would never do that, then you read the story where the vow is a burnt sacrifice. And then it's, oh, well, there's nothing in the text that tells you that God accepted the sacrifice. Which is true. God doesn't say, yummy, yummy, thanks for the sacrifice. But he doesn't reject the sacrifice either. That's not in the text. And we do know what it looks like when God does reject a sacrifice, because he can consume people in unholy fire. And Jephthah was not consumed in unholy fire at all. In fact, when they ask him about what happens in chapter 12, Jephthah says that the Lord delivered the Ammonites into his hands. And again, they try and hold that the end of the chapter has ambiguity, but it doesn't. Because if you know what Jephthah's vow was, and the text tells you that he completed his vow, then that means his daughter was sacrificed as a burnt offering, like she volunteered to be at the end of the chapter. So it's like, you can have ambiguity, and I understand why people try and hold on to it, because it's a story where a guy sacrifices his daughter as a human burnt offering, but that's the person that they hold up as a champion or a hero of the faith, because he kept his vow to God, and God did his part. So it was only right that his daughter be sacrificed according to them.
So would you say that the all-knowing, all-powerful God knew what would come out of Jephthah's door? Like, I'd say that's like accepting
Yeah.
the sacrifice because he asked for the vow. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
because the part about the part that you would have trouble convincing a person on our side is that God is all knowing. So if God is all knowing and he knows what Jephthah's coming out of Jephthah's house, then why would he fulfill the vow? If he knows that Jephthah will fulfill it, if he knows what Jephthah and he knows what's going to come out of his house, right? They try to make, whenever you deal with stories like these, they try and make God not culpable for the outcome of actions he puts into motion. Because if he doesn't give Jephthah that crushing defeat, then Jephthah wouldn't sacrifice his daughter because God didn't fulfill his part of the vow.
Okay, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you guys. Y'all are the best. I love the deconstruction community. Have a great day, guys.
Thanks for coming up, CF Joel. We appreciate you. Do you ever talk about, like, you don't have to, I just wonder if you do. Do you ever talk about how the fact that Jephthah is a girl and he goes through with the sacrifice? Because, you know, she's a girl.
Oh, his daughter?
Yeah,
well,
because
I mean,
he doesn't go, they don't go through with it when it's a boy, right? In another story.
Yeah.
But this one, they go through with it, it's a girl. Like,
yes,
there's no reason
I'm a bit cheeky with the topic because Christians assume that I'm talking about Abraham and Isaac, because then it's like, oh, well, you don't know the Bible because God intervenes. He doesn't accept the sacrifice. But it's like, I'm not talking about Abraham and Isaac. I have not explored the topic of why God accepted the sacrifice for the girl. Well, I mean, I think it's kind of in line because in Numbers 21 or 31 rather, he does accept the 20 virgins as a sacrifice in that story as well. Yeah, he seems cool with women being sacrificed as sacrifices, but
and then there's
the
concubine who he's that one whoever throws out so that they can grape her all night, and then he cuts her up in 12 little pieces and sends her out to the tribes.
That's actually in Judges too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm very interested in that. Why God saved Isaac, but then didn't save Jephthah's daughter, because he could have. That's also the other problem that they have in the story, is that there's quite literally 2 months the daughter spends bewailing her virginity on the mountain. that God doesn't do anything in the meantime, and it's not like God didn't communicate with Jephthah, because the Spirit of the Lord was with Jephthah when he made the vow. So it's not like God didn't know what was going on. It's just like the rash vow defense just doesn't work, because Jephthah's not the only rash person. So is God.
Right.
In 40 years more than 40 years of Christianity, I cannot remember a single time hearing a pastor speak of that story. And I was aware because I read the Bible, but I was so indoctrinated. It was just like all the bad things that weren't focused in my denomination, I just would like read past them and never like stop and, think about it. So, but I heard the story of Abraham probably 1,000 times. That's why.
Yeah, because God intervenes.
Yeah, and I never really was aware, like consciously aware of the story of Jephthah until I joined this community and people were talking about it. And I'm like, yeah, I've read the Bible many times. I don't know why I just like washed over that and never thought anything. But nobody told me what to think.
It's because it's too harsh, right? So like, even for the Jewish scholars, like Rashi will try and tell you that Jephthah could have had the vow annulled, but that's only if you ignore Leviticus, because if you make a vow of destruction, you can't annul it, no matter what you do. So even for like the Jewish scholars, it was kind of a hard story to kind of like, they will blame Jephthah because the vow is rash, and they won't blame the God who accepts the vow and puts the vow into motion by acting on it, because you have to keep God morally innocent in the action. It has to be like a free will thing. Otherwise, you have to rationalize why God would accept a human sacrifice for a war that's already over. Because it's not like he sacrificed to win the war. The war is over. Right? The Ammonites are subdued. But if you want to say free will, then you'd have to explain how the Ammonites have free will in the battle they were fated to lose.
Yeah. I don't know. I just see so many problems with the entire story. Hey, everybody over on YouTube. Jag, it's Des. How are you? Doug is not God. Phantom, you guys, welcome. over on the YouTube. If you have a question for Jay, just let me know. You could just ask it in the chat. If you're too shy or you don't have a TikTok, just ask it over on the YouTube and I'll read it out for him. Yeah, I didn't hear it either. I mean, I'm not saying I never heard the story, because I do remember that it was taught to me that the story is supposed to teach you that, you know, that you don't make rash vows, okay? But here's the problem with that story is, at the same time, you want me to accept this God as a father figure, and I'm supposed to look at him as a parent. Well, let me tell you something. When you have children, they make rash promises to you all the time. And as a parent, I don't go, okay, well, you told me that you were going to do this, so I'm going to make you hold to it, because instead I teach them, this is why you don't say these things. This is why I actually would not use the words like I promise to my children, because I would tell them I can't promise things because I'm not in control of everything. All I can do is try my best. Like if I tell you the next time, you know, we'll go to Disneyland, I can't promise you that, because I don't know that everything will fall in line for us to go to Disneyland. But I didn't sit there and go, oh, well, you made a promise to me now and you're 4, so I'm going to make you keep it. That would be ridiculous. And God had the power to just say, no, you're not going to sacrifice the next thing that comes out of your door, because it's going to be your daughter. Let's do something else here, okay? You know, and he at no point does that, right? So he could have taught him about making rash choices without actually going through with it. But no, God doesn't do things that way, does he? Do you find
Yeah, I
that
mean,
you
the thing
have...
is,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, it's the thing is, like, if God is supposed to be, like, the innocent bystander in the story, then you'd have to give up one of the Omni properties, but they don't want to do that.
No, they don't ever want to give up those Omni properties, which makes him so illogical by having all the Omni properties. It doesn't make any sense. If you guys have a question for Jay, you can go ahead and put it in the chat. I have a few more questions for him, and then we're going to play everybody's favorite game, Divine or Decline. If you want to play the game, you can go ahead and put a request in the guest box right now. If I don't see some people request up, I'll be making you come up. I will just be pulling you up here. So make sure you request to come up and play the game. Yeah, absolutely, Sia. Come on back up. And then maybe hang out and play the game. Esme Granny, you better come up and play the game with us too. You all know you love this game very, very much. Don't try to hide. Hey, what else did you have?
I'm totally
Jay?
down. So Jay, when we're talking about like the rashness of the vow, could God make a vow that's rash, period? Like if somebody is vowing to God, is that rash because God knows it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the idea is that, like, the God... Well, there's two defenses for the rash vow that's kind of don't really make sense if you think about it. One, it's free will, that God can't really stop Jephthah from doing anything, which doesn't make much sense since God acts in the story anyway. And two, God was already going to give the Israelites the victory, so Jephthah's vow was rash in the sense that it was unnecessary. But if God was just going to give the Israelites the victory, why did the elders personally go find Jephthah if they could just go have anyone lead their army? They go and find Jephthah specifically, so that doesn't make sense. So they needed him for something. So again, you have to explain why God would accept or allow a vow that's rash, and how he wouldn't be rash in accepting a vow when he knows that vow is going to harm an innocent person.
But if God's knowledge is perfect and he knows this vow is going to happen, wouldn't that make it not rash?
Well, if you hold that view, yeah, then everything God does is perfect, and then that means the human sacrifice is perfect.
Yeah, okay. And I'm totally down to play this game too, by the way.
Awesome. Well, it is that time, you guys. We're going to play everybody's favorite game that I made up, Divine or Decline. Okay. If you're joining us for the first time, first of all, if you are a subscriber to the channel and you're a Dark Crystal, there we go, drop the stickers in the chat. Those are your Divine or Decline stickers. If you want to be able to drop stickers in the chat, all you got to do is subscribe to my channel. It's less than a cup of coffee a month. And you're subscribed to Netflix, Hulu, Paramount Plus, and the Disney Channel. You should cancel all those subscriptions because you're here every day, all year round. I see you here. So cancel those subscriptions, then come over here, subscribe to people like myself and Jay, because we give you more bang for your buck. But here's how the game works. I'm going to read a phrase. If that phrase is from the Bible, you're going to say divine. Right, Aaron?
Yes. There's two.
It does not mean that you literally believe that what I'm saying is divine, okay? It's just that it means it's from the Bible, okay?
But we'd all be in trouble then.
If it is from the Quran, the Book of Mormon, or I made it up, it's decline. The Bible I use is a New American Standard Bible because it does not have any copyright. And the same goes for the Book of Mormon, which is the 1830 edition. And the Holy Quran has no copyright either. So those are the versions I use. I'm going to read a phrase. You're going to tell me if it is divine from the Bible or decline from somewhere else. I will start at the top and I'll come on down and ask you guys. There are no winners. There's only losers because all these books are made up bullshit. So here we go. Is everybody ready to play? You guys play along in the chat and you can play over on YouTube as well. Here we go. Yes, there are copyright on Bibles. Bible translations anyway. But the New American Standard Bible does not have. I am the only winner. And so ready for you to all have fun playing divine or decline. Okay. The prudent sees the evil and hides himself, but the naive go on and are punished for it, etc.
Divine.
All right, Ashra.
Divine.
And hi, etc. Hi, Ashra. I didn't say hi to you guys.
Hello.
Hi, thanks for coming up. CF Jewel.
You can just call me Jewel if that's easier, but I think it's decline.
Okay. All right. Aaron.
Decline.
Jay.
All right, I'm probably going to be the worst at this, but I'm also going to say decline.
That was divine. That was Proverbs 27:12. All right. Next up, question number 2. Surely the stars bow low when the righteous speak, and the earth tilts to hear them, etc.
Decline.
Ashra.
Decline.
Jewel.
Divine.
Aaron.
Decline.
Jay.
I'm going to go divine.
That was decline. That was a CrystalJae made up Bible verse. All right.
Good, actually. That should be a Bible verse.
I think I'm going to have to make a Bible with all my fake Bible
Of all the
verses I've come up with.
CrystalJaisms, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Say the truth has come and falsehood has departed. Indeed is falsehood bound to depart, etc.
Decline.
Ashra.
Decline.
Jewel.
Decline.
Jay.
I'm going to go decline on that one.
Aaron, thanks for coming up. I understand. I get phone calls and I have to drop from panels all the time. All right, that one was declined. That is Quran 1781.
Nice.
Question 4. Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring, etc.
Divine.
Ashra.
Divine.
Jewel.
I think it's decline.
Jay.
I'm going to go divine on this one.
That one is divine. That's Proverbs 27:1. I think I did that one the other day too. Sometimes I repeat myself. You know, I'm getting old. All right, question 5. And it came to pass that they did gather to the field and did wrestle in their words concerning the Lord's promise, etc.
Decline.
Asherah.
Divine.
Jewel.
Divine.
Jay.
I'm going to say divine too on that one.
That one is declined. That is the Book of Mormon. By the way, like if I read the Book of Mormon or the Quran, sometimes I have to filter words. Like that one had Alma filtered because Alma is a book from the Book of Mormon. And if you know that, you would know automatically. The other day, I forgot to mask my words and I read one from the Quran and it literally had the word Quran in the verse.
In the text.
I read it out. And
Easy
it was,
mode.
that's declined. Yeah, this is easy mode. Okay, question 6. Like one who takes a dog by the ears is he who passes by and meddles with strife, not belonging to him, etc.
I'm gonna go decline.
All right, Asherah.
I'm going to say decline.
All right, Jewel.
Divine.
Jay.
I'm going to go decline on this one.
That one is divine. That's Proverbs 26:17. So basically, you know, mind your own business is what Proverbs is saying. There. So if you guys ever need a Bible verse for mind your own business, there it is, 26:17. Question 7. The river forgets not its source, and the tree turns not from its root. So man must not forsake wisdom, etc.
Decline.
Asherah.
Divine.
Jewel.
Decline.
Jay.
I'm going to go decline as well on this one.
That is decline. I made that one up, you guys.
Well written.
All
It is
right.
well written. Very fortune cookie-ish.
Can you tell that I've read this Bible a little bit now? spent a little bit of time in this Bible now. Okay, question A. And those who believed and did righteous deeds, we will admit them to gardens beneath which rivers flow, wherein they will abide forever, etc.
Divine.
Asherah.
Decline.
Jewel.
Divine.
Jay.
I'm going to go decline.
That is decline. That's Quran 4:57.
Yeah, I was just going to say the garden was like, I don't know if that sounds like the Christian heaven.
Question, and also like it says something like, we will admit them to gardens beneath. I was like, I wonder if that's going to give it up to them a little bit because that's so Qurani to sound like that. Okay. Qurani is now an adjective for
Qurani. Yeah, that'll work.
Better is a little with righteousness than great income with injustice, etc.
Divine.
Asherah.
I'm going to decline.
Jewel.
Decline.
Jay.
Give me the verse one more time.
Better is a little with righteousness than great income with injustice.
I would say divine.
That is divine. That's Proverbs 16:8. And ladies and gentlemen, this is the final question. On this question, it's for all the marbles. Whoever gets it right wins the game, no matter what their score is now. So if you're playing along at home, you're playing on YouTube or TikTok, you have a chance to turn your entire game around with this one question, okay? And behold, they did humble themselves before the Lord, crying with exceeding great sorrow that mercy might rest upon them, etc.
Divine.
Ashra,
Divine.
Jewel,
Decline.
Jay,
I want to say divine.
All right, well, that was Decline, so it looks like
Dang
Jewel.
For all the marbles, we did it.
How did you guys do in chat and on YouTube? Did you guys do? I don't need any more distraction. No, I don't blame you. All right, you guys. Well, that is the show today. Jay, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you'll come back in a couple
Thank
of
you for
months
having
and
me.
do another show so we can see how
Sure.
everything's going. When do you go live again?
I'm going live again tomorrow night at 6 p.m. And then the next live will be this next night, Tuesday, 6 p.m. So Monday,
All
6
right.
p.m. Tuesday, 6 p.m.
All right, make sure you guys follow Jay. I will be live tomorrow night on JA Debates at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time with Sam. They will be my co-host, and we are taking over Joyful's channel for the night. So I hope you join myself and Sam on JA Debates tomorrow at 3:30 p.m. And I don't remember what I have going on after that, but I've got a lot coming up, a lot of great guests for Decon Q&A with CrystalJae. Also, if you want to be on my show and I haven't reached out to you, please don't think that I don't want you on my show. I too get shy and I do have fear of rejection, so sometimes I don't ask people because I'm afraid they won't come on my little show. So you can reach out to me, just send me, my DMs are open, send me a request and we'll get you on the schedule. Jay, thank you again for being here. Jewel, Ashra, and etc. Thank you for playing my game. Aaron, thank you also for coming up and joining me today. And for everybody who has liked, subscribed, shared, gifted, and checked out my YouTube channel, thank you all. I appreciate you. See you.